Welcome to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive. This is where we take your sources, dig into them, and pull out the key insights so you're really well informed.
Great to be here.
Today we're diving into something that's, well, causing quite a stir in the rugby world. It's this proposed Rebel League R360 and what it could mean for international rugby.
Yeah, it's got everyone talking, hasn't it? The potential impact is huge.
Absolutely. So our mission today is simple. Unpack the claims, the denials, and, the really critical stuff for players and the sport itself, all based on the sources you've sent us.
Let's get into it.
And just quickly, before we jump in, make sure you're subscribed to Rugby Obsession so you don't miss any future deep dives.
Definitely. Okay, so R360, what are the sources telling us?
Right, so the core story is this new independent competition, R360. It's being fronted, interestingly, by former England captain Mike Tindall.
Tindall, yeah. And the aim is pretty bold to, quote, shake up the sport.
Exactly. And it's not just talk. Reports say it's scheduled to kick off September next year.
That soon, wow.
Yeah. And here's the real kicker. Apparently, 160 players have already signed up.
160, that's a significant number already.
It is. And the Telegraph specifically claimed 4 highest-profile Springboks have agreed deals. Though they did note Cheslin Colby isn't thought to be one of them.
Okay, 4 top books. Even without Colby, that immediately sends ripples, doesn't it?
Really does.
Yeah.
I mean, what does that signal? A desire for change, more money, and what does it mean for, say, SA Rugby?
Well, it puts them in a tricky spot. SA Rugby's official line, according to Rapport, is pretty firm.
Right. What are they saying?
They're saying they're unaware of any current active Springboks signing with R360. They're drawing a line there.
So they believe anyone South African who has signed is either like a former player or
someone willing to basically give up their test career. That's the implication.
That's a huge call for a player to make.
It is. SA Rugby's view seems to be, Boks who want to play in the 2027 World Cup won't just sign this. They're emphasizing that players are registered with them and they are affiliated with World Rugby.
Okay, let's unpack that World Rugby connection. That sounds like the big hurdle here, the stumbling block, as some are calling it.
That's precisely it. This is the critical point. The league, R360, it's not sanctioned by World Rugby.
And World Rugby is the global governing body. They set the rules for tests, the World Cup.
Exactly. So if a league isn't sanctioned, it operates outside the official structure. And the consequences, as things stand, are severe, meaning players who join R360 would be barred from playing test rugby, period.
Wow, no international game.
None. They'd have to give up those hopes. No Rugby World Cups like the one in 2027.
Oh,
it all comes down to player registration through the national unions, which are all under the World Rugby umbrella.
So you sign with the Rebel League, you potentially kiss goodbye to playing for your country. That's career-defining stuff.
It's massive. Arguably the biggest sacrifice a player could make.
Okay, so that's the Springbok situation. What about other nations? Are players elsewhere being tempted?
Oh, definitely. It's not just a South African issue. Look at England.
Yeah.
It's thought around maybe 10 players who've played for England in the last year have agreed R360 contracts.
10 recent England players.
Okay.
And they face the same issue, of course. No sanctioning means no tests for them either, unless something changes dramatically with World Rugby.
Right. And wasn't there talk about Louis Rees-Zammit?
Yes, exactly. After his time trying out in the NFL, reports suggest he signed up too. He's always a big headline grabber.
Interesting. So England players are signing up. What about the All Blacks? Surely R360 would love some of them.
You'd think so. But the situation there seems quite different. So far, apparently no current All Blacks have jumped ship.
None at all.
Seems that way. In fact, one source mentioned a top All Black turning down a huge offer.
Huge.
The figure quoted was like an eye-watering $12 million over 3 seasons. $12 million. And he turned it down.
Turned it down to re-sign with New Zealand Rugby. It really shows how much that black jersey means, It's more than just money for many of these guys.
That's incredible. It speaks volumes about the pull of international rugby.
It really does. It highlights that cultural connection, the heritage.
But R360 must still be targeting big names globally, right? Even those with existing deals.
Absolutely. They've reportedly targeted superstars like Antoine Dupont from France and New Zealand's Ardie Savea.
But isn't he locked in?
Yeah, that's a good example of the challenge. Savea's contracted with NZR until the end of 2027.
Okay.
Plus, he's got his sabbatical in Japan next year with Kobe Steelers. Then he plans to play for Moana Pacifica in Super Rugby in 2027.
And then the World Cup.
Exactly.
Yeah.
His path is very much set within the traditional system. There's just no room, schedule-wise or contractually, for an unsanctioned league like R360 right now.
That really maps out the established route. So with all this buzz, these player links, what are people who've seen similar things before saying, is this R360 a genuine long-term threat?
Well, there's definitely some skepticism out there. You've got people like former Wallaby Simon Poitevin weighing in.
Poitevin, okay. What's his take?
He thinks these contracts might be non-binding. He actually compares it to the Kerry Packer situation back in the day.
Ah, the Packer cricket revolution. Right. Tell us a bit about that comparison.
Yeah, so Packer in the 70s basically created his own rebel cricket league, World Series cricket. He lured top players with big money, causing a massive split. Players had to choose Packer or country.
Sounds familiar.
Very. But eventually, the established cricket boards kind of absorbed it or outlasted it. Poitvinen's point is these things can cause chaos, but they often fizzle out.
If they don't have staying power.
Exactly. Especially if they lack truly massive sustained funding and that crucial blessing from the official governing body. Poitevin basically says R360 won't be a real threat unless there's really big money behind it. And even then, the World Rugby sanctioning is the key.
That historical context is really valuable. So it kind of puts the current hype into perspective a bit.
It does. It suggests caution is needed before declaring the existing structure doomed.
So what stands out most to you in all this clash between the new league's appeal and the old guard, the tradition, the rules?
It's just a fascinating tension, isn't it? You have the lure of something new, potentially very lucrative for players, pushing against this deeply embedded system of Test rugby loyalty and governance.
Yeah. We'd love to hear what you, the listener, think about this too. Let us know. And just a reminder, hit subscribe on Rugby Obsession to stay across all these developments.
It feels like a pivotal moment, really, testing the foundations of professional rugby.
It really does. So, to kind of sum it up, we've got this undeniable pull of R360 for players, new opportunities, maybe big money, versus the whole established system, Test rugby, World Rugby's rules. It's a high-stakes situation.
And connecting it to the bigger picture, it forces us to ask some really important questions, doesn't it? About the future structure of the game, how players move through their careers, that balance between, innovation and tradition.
It's a huge balancing act. How does rugby evolve without losing what makes Test rugby so special?
That's the million-dollar question, maybe even the $12 million question.
Indeed. We really want to hear your thoughts on this. How do you see it playing out? Drop your opinions in the comments or on the Rugby Obsession platform.
And maybe think about this. If you were a player facing that choice, potentially unprecedented money versus the dream of playing for your country at a World Cup, what would you prioritize?
That's a tough one. A great thought to ponder. Thanks for joining us on the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive. Remember to subscribe.
Thanks for listening.
We look forward to you listening to our next episode.